just the beginning.
Yeah.
It
Thank you.
It added on to me as a person to be like, oh, I have to stand up at this point. They know who he is. I'm family member. Like, he's my family member, you know?
Yeah.
And when I finally, like, opened up and told him and confronted him, and he wrote back and denied it, it was a little relief for me as a person, because I stood up for myself when half the people I know that have been sexually abused never got to.
Yeah.
Because they're either raped by someone they don't even know, or they refuse to talk to that person. And yeah, I refuse to talk to him or hang out with him, but I still see him at family gatherings, you know, and I still get those same creeps. I still get those same vibes. But me as a person, I have forgave him, just never forget.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a hard thing to forget.
And I never told the police. I never went and rubbed it in my family's face.
Yeah.
You know, the people that know, they know.
Yeah.
And they know what kind of person he is.
Right.
And they know who I am. And yeah, it did fuck with my relationships. It really did.
How so? So that, like...
I won't be... I mean, we're all adults here, so sexually.
Yeah.
That was one thing, is I was never sexually satisfied unless I did it myself. Because I knew, and I was afraid that they weren't going to know. Yeah. And I mean, it hasn't been that like that in a long time, but it was when it first started happening.
That's crazy.
And I was scared to open up because my dad did hurt me, and my dad he didn't touch me or anything, but my dad was the one that was supposed to be your protector.
Right.
And he never was until I told him when I was 17. And it was a little too late, and my dad pretty much almost blamed me for it. Mm-hmm. And it kind of really pissed me off. But then when he realized that he was kind of blaming me, he backed down. But I still never forgot. You know, for a long time you think it's your fault. What did I do?
So, but it's not your fault. So if you if you haven't heard it, you hear it here first.
It ain't your fault.
It ain't your fault.
It ain't
never.
It's never your fault. So if you ever had something happen to you, and that's what pisses me off a lot of times. Speak out. You know, I hate victim blamers, and I'm never a victim blamer. I'm never a victim shamer. But dude, speak out, dude. I've always hated like a 5 years later, 7 years later. You know, like I speak out. You know, 7 years later, speak out type shit. You know, like
I did that because I was little.
Well, you're little, you know. When you're little, you know, when it happened, you know, when it happened when you're 7, and then you know, happen when you don't really know how to. But when you're 20, you know, I've heard 20-year-olds get raped. I heard 30-year-olds get raped, and then you know. But when you're 20 years old and you get raped, you the next day you call a lawyer. You know, date rape by Sublime says it perfectly. You know, you get date raped, you call your lawyer, right? Boom, that fool got butt raped by a large inmate. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Fast, real quick. You know what I mean? So hey, you know,
you get yours once you go into the system.
Exactly. So you know, please, if some shit ever happens, don't be ashamed.
That's what I was.
And same for a male.
Oh yeah.
Let's say for a male, because for a while, feminists and social justice warriors were always talking shit that, you know, feminists and all that.
Men don't get raped.
Men get raped, and men get sexually molested too. I'm not that good looking of a man, you know what I mean? But I knew some guys that were good looking men, and that some females would just throw themselves trying to fucking just to get a nut, you know?
Yeah.
And they just like, hey, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to fuck with you, you know?
Yeah, I don't want to do all that.
And they would force themselves.
Yeah.
But they were good. They were nice men. They don't know how to say no, you know?
You know, so it was just an uncomfortable experience, you know?
Just an uncomfortable no. So ladies, learn how to read a room. motherfuckers. You guys could be fucking weird too, you know? So
If a dude says no, is no. Sorry, your coochie's not the best. Oh.
Fuck, man. But nothing's been the same, man, with the whole fucking Rona, man. Fuck.
And plus, especially when you don't even know like what's really going on, because like Joe Rogan even like brought up a video when there was like politicians inside of a room, and a homeboy was like, "Oh, you don't need a mask. You know, we're all vaccinated." You know, it makes you think like, is it real? You know, what's going on with it?
Yeah. That shit freaks me out. I was like, oh, I seen that too, and I was like, what the fuck?
And plus, me and Turkey, we were driving around running errands today, and they were talking about something at some local Hispanic clinic up here has coronavirus tests that are the same kind that they use in the White House. You know, and then there's also like been reports that, you know, some people think that the tests just naturally come out positive. You know.
Oh, I've heard of that too.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard of that too, where like I've heard of that too on Facebook, where people were saying that they were on the line to go get a corona test, but that the line was too long, and so they didn't go, so they left, and then that they got a call saying, hey, that they're like, hey, you need to come back, you tested positive. But then at the same time, it's like, how did they know
you were there? And
you were there.
You know.
Yeah, you were there and you left.
Or what your name is.
Or what your name is.
Especially if you didn't test, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't...
Rita said at St. Mary's, one of the girls that works there, she had spit in both vials and put the Q-tips in there. And she said both came back, and one was positive and one was negative, and she did it again, and the other one was negative. She took 3 tests. One was negative, one was negative, one was positive, and one was negative again.
See, okay, so I got a family member, which I want to tell you right now, I didn't come in contact. One came out to be negative, or maybe my man's a liar, I don't know. One came out negative, and then the second one came out to be positive.
Yeah, well, there's people in different households that are saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. They're in the same household, and one's negative, and the other one's positive, and all the rest are negative.
I have been hearing cases where the husband's sick, the kid's sick, but the mom hasn't been. Yeah. And she didn't catch the Rona because she had the mask the whole time.
You know, and that's another thing. We also had a friend explaining this. You know, the little temperature test that they do. Yeah. He was overworked, and the temperature test.
The kid is going crazy.
Yeah, playing with her straws, running up the tree and shit. She has straws? No, she just finds them. She finds them.
She finds them in the neighborhood. You can find like 100 straws out here. She just finds them in the neighborhood.
Plays around with them, meows, and then next, freaks out, spats as it goes up the tree.
That's Fruit Loop for you.
Yep.
That's cute.
That's why she has her name, Fruit Loop.
Fruit Loop.
Yeah, they ran his temperature test, but he had no like other underlying signs. They just sent him home and wanted him to get tested, and you know, his temperature test came out positive, you know, but every other test came out negative for coronavirus, and it's like, why is he having to go through that whole process of the whole nasal thing and all that? The only reason, like, they sent him to go get checked out was just because his temperature was high. But that's because he was overworking, you know, stocking up the trailers and whatever.
Yeah. For real, huh?
That's why I said, like, you don't know, like, especially, like, this whole 2020 hasn't even been fucking the same.
Yeah, 2020 is up.
And
dude, every month it's something fucking new.
Yes.
And it's just the thing about it, August is right around the corner, and especially since the news, I just saw, like, when Billy's relatives were just over here the other day, they were watching the news, and they were just talking about, they were bringing up, like, basically recapping the UFO thing on how the Pentagon released it, and how there's other pictures coming up, you know, talking about it. I'm just like, man, imagine that's like what's going on for August is, you know, we're gonna have like aliens or some shit.
And then the world's coming up.
Yeah.
December 31st.
For December. Dude, okay, so I saw a post that. Supposedly that a whole couple thousand years were lost, and that December 31st, 2012 was actually December 31st, 2020. And that's why all this shit is leading up to December.
Oh, instead of 2012, it was like 2021 or something like that?
Yeah.
It was a dyslexic Mayan.
Yeah, hey, make that meme. Dyslexic meme. December 30, 2020.
Yeah.
December 31st. That's faded.
Yeah,
Well,
but the thing is literally 2019. Did you think 2020 was gonna be this fucked up?
no, dude. 2019 was my year. 2019 was a good year for me. I'm not gonna lie. It was
alright.
It was alright. Like it was alright.
2018
Like,
was...
and it was alright. Well, I'm not gonna lie. It was alright.
Honestly, like, Noah cracked a joke saying, like, maybe the world did end and we just didn't realize it in 2012. And
Yeah.
because, like everything past 2012 hasn't, like, it's just been, like,
It was
different.
alright.
You know, it's just been different.
2019 was alright for me. Like it was cool.
It
And
was
then now this year, like I've just been like, fuck, man.
What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
You know what's funny, though? Like, whatever happened to the murder hornets? I never seen any out here. Like, I never
No.
seen any in the U.S.
No, I don't see any murder. No, there were murder
hornets.
hornets out here in the U.S. But
It was short-lived.
But what happened was bees were like covering them and vibrating them to death or some shit like that. I heard that. You didn't hear about that? There's a
Fuck off.
video. There's a video about that.
I was still going. Sick.
Yeah, there's a video about that, dude. You didn't hear about that?
To be honest with you, I've been out of the loop about a lot of shit. Like
Yeah,
when you're
there's
telling me
a
about
whole
the
lot-
Marine
there's a
girl,
whole-
all that. Like, I've been out of the loop about all that. Same thing like the what is that? The mainstays child trafficking shit.
There's a child.
Yeah, I've been out of the loop about all that shit. I've just been seeing memes, and that's how I've been getting informed. Just through
That
memes and
shit. That shit had me faded.
That shit had me tripping out. I was just like damn, like, and plus like the whole thing with Chris Cornell from Soundgarden and Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. They were big contributors into child trafficking, like, you know, like to make sure it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And then they, you know, as we say, they Epstein themselves, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they had their bouts with mental health issues, but you know,
Yeah.
some people are thinking otherwise.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who had ties with child trafficking, you know, trying to prevent it, were, you know, ended up committing suicide or ended up dying somehow.
Yeah. You think they got suicided?
It might have, like, you know, I've seen theories about that, and it makes sense because, like I said, a lot of people who've been in ties with preventing, you know, human trafficking or, you know, just in general, like sex trafficking, human trafficking, whatever, something has happened to them, and next thing you know, they either fallen off the map, you don't hear about them, or they just disappeared or died.
Oh shit. Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right.
You know, and especially like, you know, Epstein was about to drop a bunch of names.
He was about to drop a bunch of names, and then that rope looked way too long.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how are you gonna hang yourself inside of a cell, especially when you're on suicide watch? Especially when you're on suicide watch. Like, come on now.
Yeah, and then the camera broke or some shit like that.
Yeah, whatever the case may be.
Wherever the camera may be. I don't know.
I'm just waiting for his girl, Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever.
Dude, yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't really watch news like that.
Yeah,
It's
me
just,
neither. I gotta. I have been wanting to look into that because.
What's gonna happen to her?
Yeah,
Who's she gonna drop? Because if his flight logs have already been leaked,
yeah,
and like I said about Tom Hanks moving to Greece, and then and then you got Oprah Winfrey on there. You got Quentin Tarantino. You know, it makes me feel type of way because I love Quentin Tarantino and his movies.
Wow,
you know, but
I didn't hear about that.
there's a bunch of big names on there. Like I said,
Motherfucker,
and then I was watching that podcast and they name dropped like Rihanna and certain quotes.
Podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, I have to go on the history because me and Turkey were sitting out there watching it the other day.
Yeah,
That
hit
shit
me
was
up
wild,
on
dude.
that. Fuck, man, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, dude.
Because,
it's all
dude,
wild.
if I'm telling you, I'm gonna hit you up with the link on last podcast on the left with the Franklin cover up with Lawrence King.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy, I talked about him